name is Michelle Yandle and I am a nutrition coach, and I'm going to show you how to make a French-Canadian dish called salted herbs, or herbes salées in French. And so this is a recipe that my ancestors made a long time ago, but continue to use it today, the French Canadians, to flavor and add spice and add some kick to typically bland meals. So salted herbs can be added to, potato dishes, to stews, to really nice with split pea and ham soups, just to add a bit of summer freshness and vibrancy to your meals. And the great thing about it is that it'll keep for months and months and months and months in your fridge, so you can have the flavors of summer all year long. So you don't need a lot for salted herbs. What you need is just a variety of different spices, different herbs, that you can just add in any different amount that you want. But typically, you're gonna need a whole onion, about a cup's worth of onion, about a cup's worth of carrot. You're going to need, again, a cup's worth of green onions, or you could use leek as well. You have a tablespoon of rosemary and a cup of parsley and 3 tablespoons worth of fresh thyme, and we've got a 1/4 cup of oregano and about a cup of celery and a tablespoon of sage. So if you were missing one of these things, you can still make it. You can add whatever herbs you want to your mixture. This is just the usual recipe, and you can customize it however you like. So I've also got some chives here, which are really nice in the salted herbs. You can use a food processor for this, but I find that cutting and prepping is a bit of therapy for me. I love being able to take the time to chop and do it myself. It does take a little bit of time, but it's worth it in the end. So I'm just going to make sure that when I'm chopping my herbs, that I'm chopping them as finely as humanly possible. So they want to be as small as you can get them without using a food processor. But if you do use a food processor, that's fine too. Just cut them as small as you can. So I'm going to add my tablespoon of rosemary. I've already got everything else in the bowl. Just take the leaves off the stem, because the stem's a bit too hard for this. And cut your rosemary very small. I've also got about a cup's worth of celery. Now I love to use the leaves because they are the part of the celery that we don't often use. And this way we're actually using up some food that might go to waste otherwise. So about a cup's worth of celery and celery leaves. And these actually have a beautiful flavor when you're adding them to the salted herbs. So I want these really fine, so I'm gonna go over this quite a few times, preferably without cutting my fingers. Even a little bit smaller than what I've got here, because the smaller they are, the more easily they're gonna mix in with everything, because we're gonna be adding quite a bit of salt to this recipe too. So about a cup's worth of celery. I'll chop some more up later to add to your mixture. Now the French Acadians and the French Canadians often used salt to preserve their food. They salted cod, they salted beef, they salted just about everything, and the salted herbs are no exception. So this is the way that they were preserved, was by adding just some sea salt. In this case, I've got Himalayan sea salt, and I'm gonna put in about a cup's worth. But before I do, what we wanna do is we wanna release the liquid from the vegetables and the herbs. So we're just squeezing. We don't wanna murder our herbs and vegetables, but we're just squeezing them until a bit of liquid starts to come out. And it's already, you can see getting a little bit more soupy in there. This is probably gonna be, probably wanna do this for about 4 or 5 minutes until you start to get a nice brine that's coming out from the vegetables. So once you've got the liquid starting to form, got very herby fingers, you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of sea salt. I don't have my measuring cup here, I'm eyeing this, but really you can't go wrong. Now this is a lot of salt. This recipe is really more of a condiment than anything else. You're only going to use a tiny bit in your meals. It's much like Marmite or Vegemite. Very, very salty, but using it, a little bit of it goes a long way. So you can add it to your soup and you can add it to your mashed potatoes, but you really only need a little bit, which is great because that way you know that it's going to last a very long time and it's not going to go bad. So you add your salt and just continue to massage it in until you've got the liquid and the salt well combined. Right, so once you've got your herbs well mixed with the salt and there's a little bit of liquid forming, you're going to put it into sterilized jars. When you've got it in the fridge, the trick is for the first week or so to periodically turn your jars around. So once a day, flip it. Next day, flip it again. That's just going to help the salt to go through all the vegetables during that first week. After that, you should be fine just to leave it alone in the fridge. And like I say, it will last for a very long time. I don't know exactly how long, but I haven't seen them rot yet. So a very long time in the fridge. And then you've got your salted herbs. So these are really nice gifts too that you can make for people, and something that I'm sure will soon be a common ingredient in lots of New Zealand dishes.